This video is going to cover how to process a PI case from start to finish. We do also have a knowledge base article for this matter, but I'm going to cover it in this video. The first step you want to do is add into the system the third-party payer for the PI case. The third-party payer will include any attorneys or insurance companies like Geico that you are sending the claims and information to for the PI case. You're going to go to Insurance, Settings, and Payers, and then add third-party payer. Here you would enter the attorney's name or the law firm's name or the insurance company's name. So we're just going to make up one. Let's say Test Law Firm. You would add in a contact name if there's a contact name specifically for this law firm. You can add a phone number. I'm just going to make up a phone number. If you have a fax number, you can add that here. I recommend clicking Paper Bill for any third-party payer that's for a PI case. The reason being, you're not typically sending an electronic claim form to attorneys or auto companies because they really don't know how to read any of that. And also, if you select Paper Bill, it will help categorize your PI cases into a different claim file and a claim queue, and so that they're kind of separated from your everyday insurance company claims that you're trying to process. You would put the law firm's address. This Office Ally Payer ID is for electronic claims, so you would not need to fill that out. And I'm going to click Create Payer. Now I'm going to go back to our calendar, and I've already created my PI test patient. Now that I've added the payer into the system, now I need to set up a PI case for this patient. I am going to click on the Cases tab, Create New Case. Under Type, select Personal Injury. Under case name, it will default to personal injury/settlement. You can edit this and title it to whatever you want, but it's still going to be categorized as a PI case. And then bill normally or billing suspended. I typically recommend billing suspended. The reason being, most attorneys or auto insurance companies do not want a claim every week or whenever you process your billing. They typically want a statement of account and the SOAP notes at the end of the case. So if you suspend billing, it will hold off all the dates of service out of your billing queue until you're ready to process the case at the end of the patient's care. So I'm going to suspend billing. This is totally up to you. This is just typically what I see. Save changes. I'm going to make the personal injury my default case. And now I want to go in and set up the policy. I am going to go to Insurance/Coverage, Add New Insurance Coverage. Under the insurance company here, I'm going to select from the drop-down menu that third-party payer that I set up in step 1. So we'll do Test Law Firm. The name will default to the name of the third-party payer. Coverage start date is going to be the date of the first appointment for the PI case for this patient. So I'm going to say that January 9th was their first appointment. You're going to leave renews on date. And coverage end date, you can leave this blank because with a PI case, most of the time you don't know how long the care is going to go on for. So you can have this blank as it will just say it's open-ended. Under ID/claim number, if you are working with an attorney and you're working with a lien, you can put lien in all caps. If you're working with an auto insurance company, you can put the claim number that's provided. Here you can put specific notes. Maybe there's an adjuster that you have to talk to or a specific person at the law firm. You can put that information here in notes. Claims related to, we're going to use the drop-down menu and select auto accident. State of incident is the state where the motor vehicle accident occurred. So it's not necessarily where the patient lives. I mean, typically they happen within the same state, That's the state in which the auto accident happened. Max coverage can be used if you are using like MedPay, or there's a max coverage with the auto insurance company, so you can put a max coverage here. Date of current illness or injury, that is the date the accident occurred. So we'll say that this accident occurred on January 3rd, but they did not come in for their first appointment until January 9th. Unset qualifier, you want to use the drop-down menu and select this 439 accident and hit save. Now my policy is set up. At this point, you can add DX codes into the case. You can add chief complaints, care notes. But at this point, we have the policy set up for the patient. Now you're going to be treating the patient. They'll come in for their scheduled appointments. As they come in, you will add charges to the ledger and you will complete SOAP notes for each appointment. If I click into this patient's ledger, I can see that they've had services as they've been coming in. And if I click over to the Visits tab, I can see that there are SOAP notes completed. So let's say, as an example, for this case, this patient is done with their PI case. And now we need to process the claims and send the information to the attorney or the auto insurance company. Most of the time, attorneys just want a statement of account and the printout of the SOAP notes. It's not common that an attorney or auto insurance company wants claims on the actual HCFA form, but if they do, you need to get that clarified with that third-party payer, what they specifically want. By most cases, you see that they want a statement of account and a care history. To do that, you're going to go to Statement of Account. I'm going to click on Beta, Statement. I'm going to make sure my personal injury case is selected. And then I'm going to leave the start and end date blank. If I leave these blank, it will pull the entire statement of account for the PI case. Under Include Case Details, I'm going to select Include. What this will include is the provider's MPI, EIN number. It will include the DX codes on a case, and it will include the place of service code on the statement of account. I'm going to hit Submit. And you can see that it populates the statement of account as a PDF, which you can then send to the third-party payer. And here it includes the provider's information, the MPI, EIN, the place of service code, the DX codes on the case, and then all the services that were rendered. And you can see they're all under an insurance responsibility. When it says insurance, it really is a third-party payer, so someone else responsible besides the patient. So here's the statement of account. To print off the SOAP notes, you're going to go right next to it and click on the Care History button. Same concept, to select the PI case and leave the start and end date blank. This will pull all these SOAP notes that are on this case. If I hit Generate, it will pull the SOAP notes for the entire case. Same thing as a PDF that you can send, print off, or email, however that third-party payer is requesting this information. So again, to print the statement of account and the SOAP notes, you're going to go to Statement of Account and then Care History. Regardless if the third-party payer just wants a statement of account and SOAP notes, or if they want actual claims on a HCFA form, you have to take all services on a PI case through the billing process in Kyra HD. The reason why you have to take them through the billing process is that whenever you receive the check for the PI case, we can post it like an EOB and it go into the system correctly. So we're going to end up processing these claims, but you really aren't going to send the claims anywhere like you would typically, say for Blue Cross Blue Shield, and you send it to the clearinghouse. We're going to process the claims in Kyra HD, but not send the file anywhere. We just need to take it through the billing process so that when we get paid on this case, we can post the check accordingly. To take the claims through the billing process, I'm going to click on the Insurance tab, Create Claim. And then under Claim Type, I'm going to toggle to Standard Paper. Because remember, on the third-party payer setup, we chose to check off Paper Bill. Now, a common situation or question I can get from offices is, I need to take the PI case through the billing process, but I don't see the patient here. To reflect back on how we set the case, we set billing to be suspended, so therefore it is filtered out of our create claims queue. So we need to go back to the patient, and a good report to help you find these patients, if you go to simple reporting, health check, there is a tab called billable items on suspended cases. And here we can see any patient that has billing set to suspended. And here's our PI test patient. So what we can do is go back and unsuspend billing so that we can process those claims. I'm going to go to the case, personal injury, settings, bill normally, save. Now if I go to insurance, create claims, and I go to standard paper, I can see that my PI patient is in failed validation, meaning it hit the green sheets. It went through our validation process and hit the green sheets. If I click on this card, it will expand and show me all the things I need to correct on this patient. So I see that when I set up my patient, now this may not be typical for you, but I want to show you under failed validation that I'm missing information for this patient. So I need to go in and correct that. Once I've made the corrections that are required by the green sheets, I'm going to go back to insurance, create claims, go back to standard paper, and here is my PI test patient. Now you can see I have another patient in this queue. I always recommend that you only check off the one patient that you're processing. You don't want to batch bill this patient with other patient cases. You want to just process the one patient in their PI case alone. So to easily do that, I just clicked this checkbox and then just clicked on my test patient. At this point, you're going to click Create Claim. Now here is where we have taken those claims, those dates of service through the billing process, but I'm not going to send it anywhere. If the third-party payer requires that you print these out on a HCFA form, you would click Print to HCFA and select your printer, and then put HCFA forms in your printer and print off all the claims. But it's not typical that they request anything on a HCFA form, but you can print that here. But at this point, we are done processing the claims. And so we've sent the third-party payer all the information that they need, whether it be the actual claims, the statement of account, or the SOAP notes, and now we're waiting for our PI check. Say we finally received the PI check. Now we're going to go in and show you how to post a check for a PI case appropriately. You will post a check for a PI case like a normal EOB. The reason we want to do that is we want that payment allocated towards those services and go into the system as an insurance payment so that it shows also in your reporting as an insurance payment, versus if you just go into the patient profile and add a check payment, it's going to look like that's a patient payment. So we want it to be categorized as an insurance payment. To process that insurance check, we're going to go to Insurance, Process EOB, going to select Personal Injury Check, I'm going to type in the patient's name, going to select the personal injury case. Check number, I do highly recommend that you put in the check number. If there's a memo, you can add a memo, and then we're going to do check amount. So say this law firm only paid us $750 for this PI case. I know that's a low amount, but let's just say that's the amount they gave us. You have two options to easily post this check. You can click allocate and write off differences, meaning it's going to allocate money towards each service until the $750 is accounted for, and then it's going to write off all the other services. Because more often than not, you don't get paid in full for all the services on a PI case. Or you have allocate and set to patient, meaning I'm going to allocate this full $750 to services, and whatever's left over, I'm going to set to patient responsibility, meaning I'm saying the patient is responsible for the remaining amount. This is your typical use. So I'm going to click allocate and write off difference. Here I can see that under the payment column, it allocated the full billed amount until that full $750 was accounted for, and then it wrote off the remaining. I'm going to hit submit. At that point, I've processed my PI check. I can look in my reporting by going to reporting, simple reporting, and under collections for today, I can see that this was processed as a personal injury check under insurance. So that is how you would process a personal